Hi, welcome to Archival Silence in an Age of Spreadable Media, Gender, Sexuality, and Open Source Steampunk Fandom. I'm Roger Whitson, and I thought I'd give you this introductory video as a way of helping you understand who produced this project and where the project came from. Now, this project emerged out of two central interests of mine. The first is the steampunk genre itself. Steampunk is generally known as Victorian science fiction, and yet the way that fans, authors, and other participants of the genre interact on message boards, in social media, and in conventions is very interesting to someone who studies the history of the 19th century, like I do. And the reason for this is embodied in my second interest, which is the way that social media changes traditional archival issues like silence and representation. Now, by arguing the second point, I'm not trying to be overly optimistic. I don't think that social media is some amazing ultimate democracy that destroys all social division. In fact, data is political, social, and cultural. But I do mean to suggest that in an age where data is more accessible via social media and is easier to transmit, that these two things change political strategy. The way they change it is embodied in a term that I call open source culture after steampunk fans. And I suggest that this notion of open source culture requires a more dispersed sense of archival theory, one that takes into account not only academic editors, but also non-academic fans. That's participatory as well as representational. And I want to ask what the role of gender and sexuality is in open source culture. What does that mean now? What do these traditionally representational identities mean when more people are participating? I want to say that there are several ways that you can experience this project. First, you could look at my discussion of the inadequacies of textual archiving theory, the politics of open source culture, and the potential of a DIY punk culture that promotes female, trans, and queer individuals. And then you could move on to the individual case studies that I outline in the piece. You can also start with the fans, see how they define their political individuality, and then reflect on the larger issues surrounding archives and culture. Or finally, you could simply look at how this project emerged out of my Twitter conversation with steampunk Diana Foe, her commitment to social media, and then move on to my more traditional theoretical discussion and see how the two approaches emerge in a dialogue with each other. I decided to have different ways of moving through the text because I know that my interests may not reflect the interests of my readers, and I wanted to open up this text in a similar way, maybe an analogous way, as social media sort of opens up and disseminates editorial authority. At any rate, I hope you enjoy some of the ideas I present here, and in an ideal world, it might encourage you to participate more fully in steampunk fan culture, if only to understand how fans are reinterpreting the 19th century for today. I'd like to give thanks to Kathy Harris and Jackie Waremont for their help in conceptualizing this project and for encouraging me to think differently about archives. I'd also like to send out a special thanks to Diana Foe, who is the unsung hero of this project. She helped introduce me to many of the fans in the steampunk community and is a tireless advocate of understanding steampunk as a political space. Thank you.